Hello game fans and welcome to another review from Gaming Debugged. Neversong is a haunting story about a young boy who wakes up from a coma to find his best friend missing and his world turned upside down. But is this musical adventure a sleepy lullaby or a rousing symphony? Here's my review of Neversong. Out now on Xbox One, Neversong is an adventure platformer from the creators of Pinstripe. Published by Serenity Forge and created by Thomas Brush, it was formerly known as Once Upon a Coma and is actually the unofficial sequel to a Flash game named Coma. Whilst this is new to console, the games have been close to my heart for some time, as the designer Thomas Brush has a fantastic YouTube channel that helps new game developers take their first tentative steps into game design. Many of his videos pull apart Neversong to allow viewers to see how the levels are designed, how they're coded, and more recently how they're played. Thomas has been an insightful guide for me for months now, inspiring me to make games whilst keeping my feet firmly on the ground. The story of Neversong follows the protagonist Pete after he wakes up from a coma induced by the kidnapping of his best friend Ren by the frightening Dr. Smile. After the kidnapping, all the adults have left town in search for her, but then never returned. Since then, the children have been left to fend for themselves, whilst a series of monsters have appeared all around town. The writing in this game is wonderful, and the children's blunt and sometimes scary responses will often bring a smile to your face. The characters are expertly voice acted, with each of those who are left behind telling part of the overall story. When they're not helping the player overcome the various obstacles and puzzles, they share their own experiences whilst demonstrating their own coping mechanisms for dealing with the loss of all the parents. The graphics in Neversong are beautifully illustrated, and the simple 2D graphics and muted colour scheme work well for the macabre story. There are various areas to explore, from the harrowingly empty village to the dark and dank sewers and the equally scary graveyard. When it comes to gameplay, older gamers will see similarities between the old Dizzy games, as it mixes fetch quests, puzzles and platforming action. For more recent gamers, it feels a bit more like Hollow Knight or Limbo. Pete has a basic attack that can be used on the sporadic enemies and the later bigger boss battles. However, the bosses are relatively easy to beat, which might disappoint some gamers. However, it does keep the story moving at a good pace. Different areas are unlocked as the main character gains new abilities and delves deeper into the character's story. The controls are simple and easy to pick up, and whilst it is not actually aimed at a younger audience, the gameplay is accessible to all. The dark world of Neversong is relatively static, so it does lack in replayability. However, there are a series of coma cards to collect should you want to jump back in and collect the full deck. Similarly, there's a set of costumes to collect should you want to collect them all. Overall, Neversong is an enjoyable yet harrowing romp through the mind of a small boy. It explores various dark topics, and Dr. Smile is suitably frightening. However, despite the dark overtones, the story is well balanced by the whimsical characters that are packed full of personality, alongside the storybook cutscenes and the rhyming poetry. The writing and voice acting is absolutely superb, and whilst short, the game's pacing keeps you interested. Neversong is a fantastic game, and it has been a journey many months in the making. A huge thank you to Thomas Brush for sharing his game development journey and making a wonderfully dark and entertaining adventure. If you've enjoyed this review, then please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another review very soon.